To be real, Kakashi is one of the coolest characters in Naruto. I mean, the mask, the Sharingan, the aura, the attitude. Come on, he's our guy. We all love him. He's a total legend. But when it comes to his role as a teacher, especially for Team 7, things get a little bit more complicated. So today, we're going to be breaking down reasons why I think Kakashi was chosen to lead Team 7 in the first place, and why ultimately, despite his strength and status, he might not have been the best teacher for Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura. Let's not waste any time. Let's get into the video. So first of all, let's start with why was Kakashi selected? Kakashi was a prodigy. He graduated from the Ninja Academy at the age of 5, became a chunin at 6, and joined the Ambu Black Ops as a teenager. His resume is full. He was trained by none other than the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze. In terms of skill, Kakashi was a natural pick, to be honest. But there's more to it. After the Nine Tails attack on the village, the new generation of shinobi, like Naruto and Sasuke, they were going to need more than just a powerful sensei. They needed someone who had seen war, loss, and the dark side of being a ninja. So Kakashi had all that. He lost his best friend, Obito, his teammate Rin, and then his teacher, Minato. So that pain, it gave him a deep understanding of emotional trauma and the ability to connect with students who were also dealing with such loss and loneliness, like especially Naruto and Sasuke. Plus, the third Hokage knew that these kids weren't just random genin. Naruto was the nine-tailed Jinchuriki, Sasuke was the last of the Uchiha. And Sakura, well, she was she was just along for the ride, but still, she was the heart. A squad needs heart and love, and she was that, even though she showed no single heart or love to Naruto. But I digress. They needed someone who could balance the team and keep things from blowing up. So in short, when you look at all these things, Kakashi was the best mix of talent, experience, and psychological depth to be Team 7 leader and sensei. So now, here's where things get messy. Kakashi was a great ninja, but not a very good teacher. First off, he clearly favored Sasuke. From the beginning, Kakashi saw Sasuke's potential and spent way more time training him than the others. And to be honest, for a little, I'll give him some leeway in this one. I mean, like we said, Kakashi is Sasuke is a prodigy. It's way easier to teach a very smart person. Not everybody knows how to teach a dumb person. Naruto needs a teacher that I think if Iruka was stronger, like I mean, if he had, if he was stronger, like a Jonin level, that means he has a lot more jutsus and techniques to teach Naruto. I think he would have been a better sensei for Naruto, to be honest. He had the patience, the care, and, he had the finesse and knew how to handle Naruto. Kakashi couldn't. So especially during the tuning exams and before the battle against Gaara, Naruto and Sakura, they were left in the absolute dust. They were so, even, Sasuke was kind of underprepared, but he still held his own at least in the tuning exams to an extent. But, Sakura and Naruto were woefully underprepared for that. In fact, he even personally taught Sasuke Dichidori while Naruto trained with Jiraiya and Sakura. Basically, she trained herself. Okay, yes, Tsunade later trained her with healing jutsus and the rest, but for real, and it's crazy when you think about it. Team 7 is the only team that actually had to train separately. I understand they're the main cast, go and get stronger, but by the time they went to go and train with their individual masters, okay, and like Sasuke had left, like they had learned basically almost nothing from Kakashi. He also failed to address the team's emotional tension. He was also Kakashi is too carefree to be a teacher, because he didn't address Sasuke was consumed by revenge. Naruto was starving for attention and recognition. And Sakura was just dealing with her own insecurities and chasing Sasuke's approval. She didn't address any of these things. He kind of just allowed no, what am I even saying? What would I even call them? Teenage? Okay, yeah, teenagers. They were teenagers. He allowed teenage adolescents to battle these emotions alone and just have them figure it out themselves, which was a poor choice because that's not what you do with adolescents and teenagers. You help them through it. Did Kakashi try to actually talk them through these issues? Not really. And you could, chalk it up to, you know, he's not that kind of ninja, which is exactly the point. He shouldn't have been. He should have taught a. I think Kakashi is best for teaching grown-ups. You understand? And we'll talk more about that in later part of the video. He gave surface level advice, but he didn't really dive deep until it was already too late. He didn't prevent Sasuke's defection. One of Kakashi's biggest failures was not being able to stop Sasuke from leaving the village. By the time Kakashi tried to give him real advice about the revenge, the pain, about not walking the same path as him, it was already too late. Sasuke had already made up his mind and was already going to do what he wanted to do. I won't really fault him too much all the way for this. I mean, when the village does something like that, I've talked about that one extensively. You can't really blame Kakashi. Sasuke was kind of going to leave either way, but I think he could have gone an extra mile to, help him through it. I'm telling you, after all, Minato helped him by making him leave Anbu first of all, then have him guard his pregnant wife, guard Naruto while he was still in the womb. You understand? That really helped mend Kakashi to become the person he is today. It really helped heal him. You could have given Sasuke, you could have done some things like that, you understand? Have them do more team bonding. You understand? And I think that's one of Kishimoto's failures. He didn't show us enough time because funny enough, a lot of the beginning, in fact, a lot of what Naruto was just fighting, the Akatsuki, you understand? There was no ninja war happening. So there was a lot of time, even during the 3-year time scheme, there was a lot of peace. You understand? They should have showed us more where Kakashi took them on field trips, you understand? Like, just in the village, how far, let all of us, hey, go to Sasuke's house, hey, go and meet Sakura, hey, Naruto, stop drinking spoiled milk, come. All of us together, we go, have a meal, chill. You understand? You should have fostered that sense of camaraderie, that sense of love. Sakura, the way you're treating Naruto is horrible. You understand? I know he's a doofus sometimes. I know he's dumb sometimes, but talk to Naruto about his wanting for attention. You understand that. You understand how he feels to be alone. You understand? Talk to Sasuke too about his hatred, his pain, his agony, and his guilt for being the only one surviving of the Uchiha clan. You understand? I think these things would have really helped to really foster a sense of love and camaraderie. Because think about it, I think their own team is one of the most dysfunctional. Every other team, they are more cohesive. Shikamaru is his own team, Choji and Ino, they are together very well. Neji's team, Shino's team, you understand? Every other team was actually very, very well balanced. You understand? Everybody kind of got along with each other. Of course, teammates will argue, you fight sometimes, but on all in all, they all got along with each other very well. But only Team 7 was the worst dynamic team and needed a teacher to change that dynamic, and it wasn't Kakashi. So Kakashi was often emotionally distant. He showed up late. He gave vague instructions, and while some of that was just, his personality, it didn't help the team grow in the ways that were needed. So what happened to Team 7 after what was the result of Kakashi's teachings? Naruto had to seek mentorship from others, Jiraiya, Yamato, Iruka, to really grow. Sakura eventually had to train under Tsunade and she became powerful in her own way. Sasuke completely left the village and then descended into darkness and hatred until later on he changed his ways. I think the only real lesson that stuck with Team 7 from Kakashi was those who abandon their comrades are worse than scum. Even when Sasuke leaves the village, even that new team he assembles, he still doesn't abandon them, you understand? He's still with them. So even all of them, they still stick to that part. Like, if this person is your comrade, you stick with that person through thick and thin. But yet, anyway, Team 7 fell apart, which says a lot. Over time, Kakashi did grow. He became better, became a better teacher. By the time we get to Naruto Shippuden, and later when he becomes Hokage, he's much more reflective and emotionally mature, which is the point I was making earlier. You understand. You see how he leads them better. Even when he takes command of Team Asuma to fight those members of the Akatsuki to get revenge for Asuma, You understand? He's better at teaching older class. You understand? Like there are teachers that are better at teaching high school. There are some better at teaching middle school. Some better at teaching university, and some better at leading during the workplace. You understand? Some better at teaching in nursery. You understand? Not everybody knows how to teach young people. Some people know how to teach older people. You understand? And I think that's what Kakashi is better as. He even becomes a much better mentor to Naruto, after all the chaos. But in the original Naruto series, his hands-off, passive approach, it didn't serve Team 7 as well as it could have. So, my thoughts on this is that Kakashi was the right pick on paper. But when it came to guiding three of the most emotionally volatile ninja in that whole class, he just wasn't ready. He was a legend, a warrior, a beast, an absolute Chad, a survivor, but he wasn't a teacher. And that might be his most human flaw. So let me know your thoughts, guys. What do you think of this video? What do you think of Kakashi? Do you think he was a good teacher? Do you think we should cut him some slack? What are your thoughts? Or do you think Team 7 was just not a good class to teach? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.